People hear Birmingham, Alabama and assume it's dirt cheap. Like a family of 4 can move here, buy a big house, and live comfortably on almost nothing. But when I added up what my own family spends on housing, groceries, utility, transportation, and just to have a life, we can easily blow past $6,000 a month. And that's without paying for full-time childcare. Also recently had some clients buy a brand new home only for their property tax bill to roughly quadruple the next year. So yes, Birmingham can still be affordable compared to many other parts of the country, but affordable doesn't always mean cheap. In this video, I'm showing you what a family of 4 can realistically spend here in 2026, the hidden costs that people overlook, and 3 income ranges that could let you feel comfortable, not just survive. I'm Zach, a local realtor right here in Birmingham, and my own family lives here too. So I didn't want this to be another cost of living video that acts like a family spends like $300 on groceries or never goes anywhere and apparently doesn't own a car. I'm using current data, but I'm also showing you what my own family of 4 spends and where we honestly need to do better. I'm going to start with housing because where you choose to live around Birmingham could change your monthly budget by more than almost anything else in this video. And most families of 4 who reach out to me that want me to help them end up looking at like a 3 or 4 bedroom house around 1,800 to 2,200 square feet. That extra bedroom often becomes a home office, a playroom, or just a guest room. And typical home values in the metro, around $445,000 I'm seeing in Hoover, about $576,000 in Vestavia Hills, and closer to like $350 to $400 in a lot of the suburbs that outline the metro. So these are definitely broad market values, but they show how much location changes your budget. So a home around $600,000 could put you near a $3,000 principal and interest payment. That's before taxes, before insurance, before HOA dues or repairs. But if we look further outside of the city, you might find a new home closer to $300,000. If it qualifies for USDA financing and the builder is offering some type of special interest rate incentive, the payment could potentially land closer to $1,800 a month, and that's all in. That's definitely a specific situation, and not everyone's going to qualify for it, but it shows you how 2 families in Birmingham Metro can buy similar size homes and have completely different payments. But here's the part that buyers miss. Your payment on closing day isn't always the same payment you'll have a year later. Because even with a fixed interest rate, there are 2 parts of your payment that can keep changing, and one of them caused a major surprise for one of my clients. So last year I had some clients buy a new construction home. At the time, the tax bill was basically based on the vacant lot because the completed house hadn't been added to the tax assessment yet. When the next year came, the county assessed the land and the finished house. Their property tax bill, I'm not kidding guys, it roughly quadrupled. So the original number simply wasn't the true tax bill for the completed property. And if your taxes are escrowed in, that higher bill can raise your monthly mortgage payment. So when you're buying new construction, don't just look at the current tax record and divide it by 12. Ask your lender to estimate taxes based on the completed home's value. That one question could save you from a major payment shock later. But even if you estimate your taxes perfectly, families still make another expensive mistake. They focus on the price of the house and ignore what it costs to live there every single day. So yeah, you might save $300 a month by moving 45 minutes away from downtown, but how much are you actually spending on gas, maintenance, and time on the road? Y'all, sometimes the cheapest house creates the most expensive lifestyle. Then you gotta factor in the cost of actually owning a home. So let's say your HVAC stops working during an Alabama July, that's your problem. Pest control, yard work, appliances, plumbing, and routine maintenance all belong in your budget. So you can't just ignore the maintenance until you're ready to sell, because deferred repairs can definitely pile up, and that cuts into your money that you're expecting to make when you go to sell the house. So I'm not saying you need to renovate the house every single year, just take care of what you own. But housing is only the beginning, because one of the expenses that sounds small on paper is now costing many families more than $1,000 every single month. So for my family, we get meat, fruit, and certain items from one grocery store, especially when they're doing like BOGO sales, and then we go to a different grocery store and we get really everything else. We're currently spending like $1,000 to $1,200 a month, and I go to that store almost every single week. Guys, I'm not kidding, I can't get out for under $100. MIT's living wage calculator puts food for 2 adults and 2 children in the area of roughly like $1,100 a month. So if you're moving here with a family of 4, I wouldn't just automatically build your budget around like a $500 or $600 grocery bill. And I forgot to mention, we haven't actually even joined like a Costco or Sam's Club yet. It gets recommended to us all the time. They're both like 25 minutes away or so. So tell me in the comments, is it worth the drive to actually have a Costco or Sam's Club membership? Do you save money on groceries? Just let me know down there. But here's the thing, groceries aren't normally the category that completely wrecks a family's budget. 2 vehicles and full-time childcare can definitely do that quickly, but we haven't even gotten into utilities yet. So for like a 2,000 square foot home, I would plan around $350 to $500 a month across your power, gas, and water bills. So during a brutal Alabama summer, an electric bill could easily be $250 or more, and it really wouldn't surprise me. And don't even get me started on transportation, because it's another major expense, because Birmingham is largely car dependent. With 2 car payments, fuel, insurance, and basic maintenance, a household can easily spend around $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And that's why moving further out doesn't automatically save you money. Look, you may spend less on the house, but more on the vehicles and the commute, and if you think that's expensive, the next category can cost more than your mortgage. And guys, this is where the budget can completely change. Full-time childcare can run roughly $800 to $1,200 per child each month. For 2 children, that can easily be another $1,600 to $2,400 a month. That's another mortgage payment, guys. And childcare, honestly, is one of the reasons my wife decided to step away from working and stay at home with our children during the first few years of their lives. But avoiding daycare doesn't suddenly make raising children cheaper. And MIT's model put total medical expenses for a family of 4 in the $965 a month range. And that doesn't mean every family's paying that much for insurance, but we also got to factor in employer benefits and deductibles, and those can completely change that number. But it shows why 2 families earning the same income can feel completely different financially. One family might have low-cost health insurance through an employer, another might be self-employed and paying for most of it themselves. Now let's stack everything together, because this is where Birmingham's reputation for being cheap starts to fall apart. Let's use some of my family's middle-of-the-road numbers here. Around $1,100 for groceries, around $450 for utilities, around $1,350 for transportation, and around $1,750 for restaurants, children's activities, entertainment, and weekend outings. That already puts us at like $4,650 a month, before the mortgage, before healthcare, before retirement savings, before phones, internet, home repairs, or childcare. Add an additional $1,800 for housing payments, and we're at like $6,500. Swap that out for a more expensive house, and you're looking at like an extra $3,000, so you're around $7,600. Let's be honest, that $1,750 lifestyle category is the area where our family has struggled the most. And we've definitely gotten better by eating at home more and being more intentional with our finances. I'm not telling you never to eat out or do anything fun, but you need to plan. Maybe you eat out once a week. Maybe your household doesn't need 2 vehicles. Maybe every weekend doesn't need to cost $300. So decide what matters to you and your family, and tell your money where it goes before it disappears. So now that we know what the expenses can look like, here's the question everyone really wants answered. How much do you actually need to earn? So for me, comfortable means paying the bills, maintaining the home, saving for emergencies and retirement, occasionally eating out or traveling, and not letting one surprise expense destroy my entire month. And depending on your family setup, the answer can change by nearly $80,000. So here's scenario number 1. So for a 1-income household with a stay-at-home parent, I would want to see roughly around $90,000 to $100,000, especially in one of the more affordable outer suburbs. Could you live on less? Absolutely, but the margin will be smaller. One major home repair or medical bill can quickly make that budget feel extremely tight. Scenario number 2. So for 2 working parents without paid childcare, I would estimate around $120,000 to $130,000 combined for a more comfortable lifestyle. So maybe the children are already in school, a relative helps out, or the parents have work schedules that eliminate the need for full-time daycare. This definitely changes the budget tremendously, but the third scenario is where the numbers jump the fastest. Scenario number 3. So for 2 working parents paying full-time childcare, I could easily see a family wanting $150,000 to $175,000 combined. And that doesn't mean both parents shouldn't work unless the household makes $175,000. I'm talking about health insurance, retirement benefits, career growth, and personal goals. They all matter. But just calculate what's actually left from that second income after taxes, childcare, commuting, and other work-related expenses, because a second income can look great on paper while feeling much smaller in real life. So is Birmingham affordable for a family of 4 in 2026? Well, compared to many other larger metros, the answer is yes. But it's not automatic. A realistic family budget can easily land between $6,000 and $8,000 a month. And families with higher housing costs, full-time childcare, medical expenses, or debt can sometimes spend even more. So your biggest financial wins probably aren't going to come from saving 30 cents on groceries. They're going to come by where you're going to buy your house, what loan and interest rate you use, how far you're willing to commute, whether you need childcare, and whether the property taxes reflect the vacant land or the completed home value like we talked about earlier. So if you have a family of 4, tell me which expenses surprise you the most. And please settle the debate. Is a 25-minute drive to Costco or Sam's Club actually worth it? So if you're thinking about moving to Birmingham or one of the surrounding suburbs, my information is below. I'd love to help you out, help you understand the different spots in the communities, and really just work around your budget to make sure you make the best move for you and your family. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out my next video here.